Hi, Emily. Welcome to Fit, Fun, and Frazzled. I'm so excited to have you here. How are you doing
Hi,
today?
I'm doing good. Thank you. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you. So, for the listeners, Emily and I know each other. I used to teach at her yoga studio in the Cleveland area. Now we're going to get into it. So, can you please tell us who you are and what you do?
Yeah, my name is Emily Kloss. I live in Cleveland, Ohio, and I right now run a plant business. So I do in-home potting services, pruning. I teach people about their plants. I do consulting as far as where plants could live in your home, and then I kind of support people with their plants. They're only house plants, really.
Mhm.
I offer kind of full support so that they can help their plants grow and thrive and have a lot of greenery in their homes.
I love that. And I feel like we are the generation that fit perfectly with those memes. Like, we were the kids in the 90s drinking Zimas in the field, and now we're making sourdough and planting vegetable gardens and growing plants in our house.
Zima with a Jolly Rancher in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how did you have you always been into plants, or how did it shift into plants?
Yeah, I mean, I always have been into plants. My mom always had plants in our home growing up as decoration. And I don't know that she was like, by the time she had kids, she wasn't a huge plant person, but I know previous to having children, she like destroyed an entire room of an apartment that she rented because she was like bringing a hose to water her
Oh,
plants. And
yeah.
so she was always like a very planty person. And when I moved out and went to college, I immediately was like, well, my house has to have plants because I always grew up
Hmm.
with them. So I brought in some plants, and then over time, it's just kind of really snowballed to I
Yeah.
have currently in my home, and you can maybe see behind me, there's a lot of plants, but I probably have close to 300 plants in my house right now, which is more
Yeah.
than I want, but it's what we have.
Well, for the listeners, so I taught at Emily's studio in the Cleveland area, Flows and Grows, and she had the yoga studio and a plant shop in it. And it was just so peaceful. I don't even think people understand like walking in and all the plants around. And even I taught really early in the morning, and sometimes like being in this area, it's called Crocker Park. It was scary because it was like dark and desolate. But when
Yeah.
I walked in there was something about being in that studio. I felt just at peace and serene as soon as like I walked in and turned on the lights and
Yeah.
everything. Can you tell us how you transitioned, or what if there was a thing that you were like, you know what, I want to just go full in with the plants and plant business?
So no. So it's all been kind of this big practice of surrender. So I
Hmm.
lost my job and I had a corporate career for, I don't know, close to 20 years, I guess. And I've been working for the same company for a decade. And I lost my job the day we went into lockdown for the pandemic, which my anniversary is just this last Monday. So yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and for whatever reason, it was probably like a trauma response. I don't know, but I
Yeah.
was just like, I'm never working for anybody else ever again.
Hmm.
But I didn't have a vision. I wasn't somebody who was like, oh, I made this thing and I want to sell it, or I have this thing to offer and I want to give it to people. I was just kind of like, I don't want to work for anybody. And so
Yeah.
I just took this mindset of start where you are, use what you have, go, and don't stop.
Hmm.
And so I was a CrossFit coach and holistic nutrition coach at the time. So that's kind of where I started. And with it being the pandemic days, it was like, online was where you would be.
Yeah.
So I started online trying to sell those services and help people be healthy while we were all in lockdown and all that. It did not go great. I mean, I had some clients here and there, but it wasn't like a strong business. Um, my yoga teacher at the time went digital very well. And so my practice was just, it was daily. It was what I was doing almost all the time was practicing yoga. And so she said, why don't you become a teacher? So I did. I did 2020 yoga YTT.
Mhm.
When I graduated in 21, I told all my friends that I have this vision because have always been a planty person, I told them I have this vision of a yoga studio that's also a plant shop and it's called Flows and Grows. And all my girlfriends were like, yes, this is
Hmm.
amazing. You have to do it. So another year went by, maybe more. And I didn't do anything with it. I was doing like online teaching, yoga. I was teaching in studios. Studios had opened back up and just trying to get it going there. And this spot opened up at Crocker Park and it was a sublease. So I was able to just kind of test and see if
Yeah.
a yoga studio inside of a plant shop would do well. And as we know, it did not. But that's okay because, trusting the journey, following the path,
Hmm.
surrendering to what is right in front of you. It was like always that was always my mindset. So I had to
Yeah.
pay rent. Somebody one day on Facebook was like, "Hey, I need help with my plants. Can somebody come over and just help me? Like repot them, tell me what to do, how to water them, all that." And I was like, "Yeah, I can do that."
Yeah.
So I went and I did. And then all of a sudden, she told a friend who told a friend. I posted it online, and suddenly I was like getting busy with it.
That's
So
awesome.
when my lease came up, I decided to close and go fully remote with this business, and it just keeps growing. It's so much fun. I didn't realize that this could be a business, and
Mhm.
I love it. I love it so much. It's
Yeah.
my clients, they love it. It's the most fun.
Yeah. I love it. I love your Instagram posts too.
Thank you.
Um, so how can people, if they're just starting out, they don't have a green thumb, they want to keep a plant alive in their home, where do
Yeah.
they start?
Start with my Instagram because I will tell everything.
Yeah.
I'm not here to hoard secrets. Like I
Hmm.
want people to be able to do it on their own. So that would be helpful. Um, but also maybe starting with some like very common typical plants like snake plants, pothos, ZZ plants. A lot of people have great luck with philodendrons. I don't. I don't know why. But that's also something else is like realizing that not all plants are for all people, and you will find the plants that appreciate your care and that you really love how they grow. And so you're a great match for each other. But it can be very frustrating if you keep banging your head against the same wall and killing the same plants over and over. It's like, just move on. And it's also like, I think it's also okay to take the mindset of, yes, they're living and they're beautiful and we don't want them to die, but
Hmm.
best way to learn how to keep plants is to kill a few, to really know kind of what doesn't work. And then you start to learn
Yeah.
what does.
Do Okay, so I have two questions that just popped in my brain. First, I want to go because you said like the mindset. Do you ever, okay, being a mindset coach and like the whole like water molecules, do you ever like positive affirmation your plants if they're sick or like no, you just are with sign. You could be open and
Yeah,
honest, like I don't
I'll
care.
be honest. There are certain plants that I love, and I'm always like, yes, you've got this.
Yeah.
Like, just this little bit of growth, that's all you need. And then there's other plants that I will shit talk. I mean to. I hate them and they hate me back. And a lot of times I'll usually give those to somebody. If I'm like,
Yeah.
we don't have a good thing here, then I'll just send them on their way and somebody else.
Yeah.
Because like I
Like,
said, not all plants are for all people, and that's okay.
yeah. We have a vegetable garden. We started the vegetable garden during COVID.
Yeah.
Um, Everything keeps coming back to COVID today with
I mean, the 5-year anniversary right here.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Hmm.
and it was like a big pivotal time in a lot of
Yeah.
lives. So
Yeah. The first 2 years my vegetable garden did really well. And then the past 3 years or two other years, 2 years, because I haven't planted yet. It didn't. So last year I did the planting and positive affirmation every day and none of them took. And I was like, whatever. I think it's no, it's all shade. My husband's like, it's the trees have grown like so tall since we started that it's shade now where the garden is. So whatever.
well, time to
But
chop down those trees.
the other thing is, are there plants? I know a lot of my listeners and myself included have pets and animals. Are
Yeah.
there plants specifically that are very dangerous and poisonous to animals?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you shop at any plant store, and I'm not talking about Lowe's and Home Depot and Walmart.
Hmm.
Those places I would recommend staying away from buying your plants from because
Okay.
the people who work there don't know anything about them. They're not
Okay.
treating them the way that they need to be treated. It's just like it's not the greatest place. But if you go to any other sort of small mom and pop, locally owned plant shop, the people there can always guide you to what's pet safe and what is not. So I would always rely on them. You know, there's some typical plants that are pet safe, like ferns are pet safe generally, peperomias, calatheas. Um, there's a whole list, but there's some that
Hmm.
are very, very bad for plants or for pets. So I would always stay away from a sago palm. They call it the cat killer. So it's like a highly toxic palm that you really want to keep out of because cats especially are very curious about plants.
Yeah.
So if you have a cat and you know that they are a very curious cat, I would stay away from a lot of different plants, but sago palm especially, and so are peace lilies. And peace lilies are very, very common. They always, not always, but often come in like the funeral baskets.
Oh,
Pass away.
okay.
So I'd say throughout life, most people at some point in their life will have a peace lily. And so that's one to watch
Okay.
because they're given
Thanks for
as
sharing
gifts.
that.
Yeah.
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 So April is Stress Awareness Month, and I want to touch on that a little bit. What do you, well, I know you probably do because you're a yoga teacher. Do you have any practices that help with your stress and stress
Yeah.
relief?
Yes. So absolutely practicing yoga, showing up on my mat, being inside my body, and letting everything else around the world just not matter for that little period of time is 100% something that I do to relieve stress. I'm also an avid walker. I walk the soles off my shoes probably every 3 to 6 months. I find that like taking a hike in the woods, just I live right in the park. So like just being outside, being with nature, being in the woods is something that always relieves my stress. And then, of course, my plants. And my plants probably think I'm weird. Like, if they are able to see me, they probably think it's strange how often my face is just right looking at them and studying every little thing. But I find it to be really stress relieving when
Yeah.
I am like at a 10, I'll just go and tend to my plants, water them, watching water drain through pots. It's highly soothing.
Yeah. I
Those are
love that.
my top three.
You know what I just remembered? So when Emily used to have a group text thread of all the teachers from her studio, and like on a Friday or something, she would do a voice note to us like, the sun is shining, I hope everyone's enjoying it, get outside. I loved that, and it
Yeah.
was so like calming sometimes,
Yeah.
like in the middle of my day, like I work like an office job too, and just like listening to that, and you know what, okay, let's go outside, do a 20-minute walk break and get out in the sunshine. So thank you for always doing that.
Yeah. I love voice notes. I think people should leave more of them.
Yeah, they
I'm much
should.
more of a voice note than like a 20 paragraph text.
I know.
Even a phone call for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah. Flipping a little bit to entrepreneurship, do you have any advice for anyone? Like, I feel like a lot of people now, and I think it is because we're in like a more digital age, people, and especially like midlife, I feel like people are really starting to follow their passion, which is
Yeah.
amazing. So, do you
Yeah.
have any advice for anyone?
Don't stop. That's that's it. Like there is nothing else to entrepreneurship besides
Hmm.
like if you've got an idea, if you've got the will to like present whatever it is to the universe and to people who need it, like don't stop, change, like continue to change and grow and learn,
Hmm.
come with it fully understanding that you're going to make huge mistakes. You're going to make small mistakes. In fact, most of what you do will be mistakes. But if you keep going, then you will get there. Like it could take a very long time. It could take a very short time. It could end up not being what you thought it would, but like, and none of that matters. Like if you keep
Yeah.
going and never ever stop, it will happen.
Yeah. I love that.
And always ask for help too.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Like it's so
I,
easy to be alone in your own
mhm.
little, I'm working on this thing and it's just me, but like It's not.
Yeah.
So many people want to help, but they won't unless you ask.
I know. I feel like, and as females, I feel like we tend to help everyone else or like people please kind of, or like um we multitask, but then like we don't want to ask for help
Yeah,
for ourselves.
right.
So yeah.
Yeah. Asking for help is hard. But I think it's also like anything, the more you do it, the more your muscle builds for it. So like it gets easier to ask for help the more that you ask.
Yeah.
Which is a good reminder to myself. I should ask for some help.
Where can everyone find you? And do you have any events or anything coming up you'd like to share?
So you can find me on Instagram, Cleveland Plant Doctor. I do a lot of education there. I make a lot of reels. I kind of swear a lot. So if you're sensitive to that, then you may not want to take a listen. But plants make me swear. Um, There, my website is clevelandplantdoctor.com. I do the in-home services, so I'm fully mobile in my business. So you can't find me in one spot, but you can find me at your house. And events, I'm doing a succulent arrangement workshop, and that's going to be at Coffee Therapy on April 16th. Shoot, I forgot the date. Let me look at my phone. I think it's April 16th.
And all this will be in my show notes too. And coffee therapy is in Westlake in the Cleveland
Westlake.
area.
And that'll be at
Yeah.
6:30 and tickets are $45 and we have 4 spots left.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I might
Awesome.
open it up tomorrow. I was keeping it small, like intimate.
Hmm.
Um, but if there's more demand, then I'll open up. But I'm keeping it small either way. And then also everybody gets a free coffee with their ticket.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Fun. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on Fit, Fun, and Frazzled. It was great talking with you and catching up too.
Good talking to you too. Thank you.